Next, let's queer up politics.
This is good.
Yeah, I'm ready.
What's wrong with Desantis? Scott Maxwell says he sees sexual boogeymen everywhere he looks. In a recent opinion piece in the Sun Sentinel, columnist Scott Maxwell shared his views on why Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis, continues to attack the LGBTQ+ community. The inspiration for the article was the recent veto of arts funding in Florida by DeSantis because a few of the arts groups promoted sexual content. Maxwell writes in the article, quote, "Now, if DeSantis had specifically targeted funding for a convention sponsored by Playboy, or maybe a threesome-loving Moms for Liberty founder, that might have made some sense. But he didn't. He nixed money for opera companies, science centers, children's museums, and family theaters," end quote. Florida's economists estimate that the arts and culture sectors generate almost $6 billion annually and support more than 90,000 full-time jobs. But to DeSantis, it's a continuation of his obsession over LGBTQ+ and drag queens, including the stunt where he attempted to pull the license from the Orlando Philharmonic over the lewd acts in a drag queen Christmas, even though his own state agents said no such behavior was present. Okay, let me unpack this for you guys. Seeing sexual boogeymen is actually a side effect of Casey DeSantis cutting off little Ronnie's balls and lugging them around in her knockoff Birkin bag. You can hear them rattling around and they're occasionally bumping into her pistol and the loose breath mints. The shocking thing is that for a Republican governor, DeSantis is surprisingly obsessed with crippling his own state's economy. What a mess. He's a moron.
The moron went after Disney. Again, one of the biggest employers and revenue sources for the state of Florida, and he went after them.
And they're doing just
Apparently
fine.
a governor. Should have never been a governor. Yeah.
You know, I actually find DeSantis to be an unusually effective politician. Like when I was working, I hear
Effective.
Yeah, that doesn't effective at winning what he wants.
Right.
That's not the same thing as a decent human being.
Right.
Because like, I always found like when I was at the Florida Dems, it was easy to hurt Donald Trump's approval rating. I could hit him on a different way than I could see it. DeSantis was always a much harder person to hit. And looking at this particular situation, I actually disagree with Maxwell. Not on like, I think there should be tons of funding. He said that we normally fund 32 million. I think it should be 100 million at least. But by cutting it for everyone instead of picking and choosing, that was actually very smart to say, I'm not going to create this thing where only things I approve of get funded, which would be a really dystopian look. I'm just going to say, well, we can't do it for anyone then. And I feel like I don't like what he did, but that was one of his times he does that. I'm like, oh, I wish he has an unusually smart
But he's
way of
still
doing
kicking
it.
the economy in the balls.
Of course he is, but
Of
he
the
seems
state
to do
that
fine
he's
with voters
governing.
with that.
Because
Yeah.
his balls are in his wife's handbag.
that's-
You already said that.
Why doesn't he kick the states in the balls?
No, like I understand. It's just for some reason voters don't seem to care about the economy in that way, which is very weird because normally they do care.
Yeah.
But like I think one thing that Trump, I'll semi-agree with Trump on one thing is like it's not hard to have a good approval rating in Florida because it's always sunny down here. So that might also be what goes on with DeSantis.